Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of The Roundup Punishment, a Korean crime action thriller from 2024 that is a sequel to The Outlaws from 2017, The Roundup from 2022, and The Roundup No Way Out from 2024. Now it stars Dong-seok and Mu-yeol. I do have reviews of those three prior movies on my channel already, from a few years ago. Good movies for sure, but how does the fourth installment compare? So let's find out. Now in the Philippines, there's a man named Baek, a former Korean Special Forces guy, and current head of an online gambling organization. And he kills his worker Joe as he attempts an escape. Now Chang, the casino administrator, promises to increase Baek's share in exchange for shutting down a rival casino and take over their patrons. Baek stages a violent raid on the rival server and takes the members' data, but Chang does not fulfill his promise. Baek flies back to South Korea to confront Chang, and meanwhile, our boy Detective Ma investigates a possible case of online money laundering committed by Joe. Now, similar to prior installments, the story here is pretty basic, alright? You basically have cops who shake down any number of criminals and or informants to track down the bad guys, the main bad guys. That's basically what you get here. And we've seen this kind of thing many times before, even within this own franchise. But really, we're on the fourth installment of this Outlaws Roundup project, so I think we should know what we're getting at this point. There's a formula, and this movie does feel formulaic. Now, on a positive note, there are some conflicts between the bad guys, which is usually one of the more engaging aspects of a film like this by default. I just find it to be fun to have, three different sets of people fighting against each other in different ways. Like, you have the cops, one bad guy organization, and another bad guy organization. They're all, kind of having a melee fight or whatever throughout the movie. So you're not sure who's going to attack who at any point. I kind of like that. It keeps it interesting. If they made a Roundup 4, though, or the next Roundup film, I'd like to see someone more eccentric or different in some way as a big baddie. I would. Change it up a little bit. But as I say sometimes, we're here for the action, and there's quite a bit of it. The pre-title scene shows the villain, who's played by Mu-yeol, knifing a dude in the street, and it sets up a more serious tone of the film. But as usual, once Ma shows up, there's a little bit more of a lightness at times and a little bit of humor mixed in. So we get a quick scene with Dong-seok punching people in the face, which is, it's basically why we watch these movies. And they do give us what they want here. Again, more of a fun tone in that scene. And then the bad guy shows up again. Nice. Probably the best fight of the earlier portions of the film. It's a brawl, involving fists, small knives, and a gun. Pretty nicely choreographed stuff, but, on the short side. And you get a lot of little fights in this that are just thrown in. Another solid scene, probably the best in the middle section, is two fights that occur simultaneously in two separate bathrooms, and the cops get split up, and there's one guy in one bathroom, another guy in another. And it's the fighting in this is good, and you wonder if the sidekick cop is going to make it out alive, because he's fighting the main baddie. So there's an element of suspense there because of that. There's a lot of knife fights in this. There's one in an apartment between the bad guys and another one between Ma and another group of bad guys on top of all the other knife fights we get in this. Not especially creative choreography, but it's effective and intensely executed. And if you haven't noticed already, there's a ton of these, short and sweet exchanges that are peppered throughout. It does help the pacing. So if you enjoy this type of formula, you're not going to get bored. Now the final fight is pretty good, with some super punches, as I would say, to enjoy. It's nothing great or special, though, and it could have finished a little bit stronger, I think. But, this Roundup franchise has become very formulaic and predictable, so if you thought the last entry was getting stale and you weren't really interested, you might feel the same way about this one. However, if you enjoyed the last film and wanted more, this is a pretty obvious recommendation. So it's currently available streaming on YouTube and Amazon, and it's also available on Blu-ray. And as always, I'll see you next time.